Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. I'm your host Vajiha Ashfaq, and I welcome you to our webinar series hosted by the Center for Law and Security. Today, the topic for our discussion will be: Is a new world order in the making? What will the world look like after the U.S. Iran war? To speak on the subject matter, we have a very esteemed guest, Ambassador Ashraf Jahangir Qazi. He served as an ambassador of Pakistan to China, to the to the United States, and as a UN Special Envoy to Iraq. We are also joined by the Executive Director CLAS, Mr. Rahman Azhar. The format of this webinar will be bilingual. So, without wasting any time, let us begin with our questions. My first question to Ambassador Saab is: How do you think, sir, this war has changed the world so far?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a great honor to meet all of you and your students. Um, the current world order is essentially based on, let's say, two kinds of orders. One is a legitimate order, and the other is an illegal order. The legitimate order is the United Nations Charter, which was negotiated in San Francisco after World War II. And that is, and the rules in it comprise a rules-based order. And all countries which are members of the United Nations are legally bound to follow that order in the conduct of their external relations, defense relations, including war and peace. The other order, which has also been in existence for a long time, since the end of World War II, is an illegal order, and that is the United States-based order, which, while it formally conforms to the UN Charter, in effect, the rules-based order, as interpreted in practice, not verbally as they speak, but in practice by the United States, is that the rules are to be made by the United States, and the rest of the world will follow them. And on that basis, the US has conducted foreign policy for the last 75 years, 80 years almost, in complete violation of the United Nations Charter. So the United Nations-led world order, which follows the whim based on the power and might of the United States, is in conflict with the United Nations-based order, which came into being in order to ban the scourge of war after the atrocities of World War I and especially World War II, including Hiroshima and the Holocaust and so many other things. So right now, a particular war taking place between Iran and the U.S., or the U.S. in support of Israel against Iran, which is supported by China and Russia. This is a milestone in the challenge to the US-based order. In itself, it is not sufficient to change the whole order. That's a longer term basic thing, but it does indicate that the age of US global hegemony is coming to an end. Now, if you notice, with respect to Afghanistan and Iraq and Venezuela and other places, America could win wars very rapidly, very shortly, and then afterwards it had difficulties in bringing about political stability. But in this case, it hasn't even got to first base because Iran and China and Russia have ensured that America has made no progress towards winning this war. And that is why President Trump is in complete confusion. One day he threatens to totally destroy Iranian civilization. Next day he sort of says that we've already reached an agreement. And he's done this almost 40 times. The state of the world today.
Right. But Kaisab, how do you think that this war will change Gulf states as well? I just want to know, how are you seeing the impacts it is making on the region?
Yes, the Gulf states are the big losers here because the Gulf states depended almost entirely on the United States, not only economically, but even politically, because the rulers of the Gulf states are primarily scared of their own people. And that is why they have had military bases of America, which are given to them free of any rent and totally unconditionally, which America has used in this particular war against Iran. And that is why Iran has retaliated against these bases, which are based on the Gulf territories. And the Gulf territories have protested, saying that you are attacking us, whereas in fact they are lending their territory free of cost, free of rent to America to attack Iran. In this particular situation, now, if America fails, and it looks like it's likely to fail in this endeavor against Iran, then the center of gravity within the region will move away from the Gulf countries, which, because of their wealth and because of their oil, played a very significant role, and now it's likely to move towards Iran, backed by Russia and China, and that, of course, will make a great difference to the regional order, and Pakistan should benefit from it because.
Right. Ambassador Saab, like you said, this is one of the wars that America has recently fought. We have seen many other wars where America was involved. Recent example was Iraq and Afghanistan. Why do you see Iran is a different conflict as compared to Afghanistan or Iraq?
Well, in Iran and in Afghanistan, what happened was that the military aspect of the invasion was over very, very quickly. The problems for America began afterwards because of the resistance which developed, which they could not overcome in both cases, as a result of which America was forced to withdraw from Afghanistan and was also forced to withdraw from Iraq, although there's still continuing influence of America, and America does control the oil supply of Iraq to a great extent. But nonetheless, the military occupation, the active military presence of America had to be very significantly reduced and withdrawn from both countries. So in the case of Iran, they have made no progress towards, in fact, right now, they don't even consider having ground troops, without which you can't win a ground war. From the air, air dominance used to be a very critical factor, but now the technology has moved as a result of Russia and China's technological developments, where missiles and drones are able to counter much more expensive aerial offensives. And, the Americans are spending money at the rate of 10 times, 20 times, maybe 100 times more than what Iran is doing, because the nature of the conflict has changed, and America is unable now to even open the Hormuz Straits. And I must always add, Iran is not the country that closed the Hormuz Straits. It was open. It was the American and Israeli decision to go to war with Iran which closed the straits, and that is why Iran has said, you will now pay us reparations for the damage you illegally inflicted on us, not just illegally, but criminally inflicted on us. And China and all is very quiet, but China understands and supports, doesn't openly support Iran, but it effectively supports Iran.
Ji, sir. Sir, with the multipolarity already in place, do you think that the U.S. Iran war has accelerated the multipolarity?
Multipolarity was on decline anyway, because unipolarity existed just after the end of the Cold War. And with the rise of China, unipolarity began to weaken straight away, right as far back as that time. So, I mean, there's been a progression away from unipolarity after the Cold War ended, with America totally triumphant, and Russia broken, and China still a developing country at that time. So that was a long time ago now. Now, of course, you have the militarily, Russia is a very significant power. Economically, it is a lesser power, and politically, diplomatically, it is involved in Ukraine, so it can't play the kind of role that it would expect to play in its other region because of the preoccupation with Ukraine. But China has managed to play a critical role with two countries, with regard to Pakistan vis-a-vis India, and with regard to Iran vis-a-vis the US and Israel. And it has shown the effectiveness of its support, which is an indicator. So already there is almost a consensus amongst American experts that unipolarity is gone. Now they're going for what they hope would be bipolarity. Do a deal with China so that you rule the world here and we'll rule the world there. But China, throughout its 5,000-year history, has never ever believed in any kind of global hegemony. It has always prioritized its own security. And for that purpose, of course, it has been willing to sort of use force to defend its security. But it has never, ever sought throughout its long history to conquer the world. Whereas Western civilizations have always believed that they're superior. That's where the racism comes in. And wherever they went, they have exterminated many of the natives, whether it's Americas, whether it's Australia, whether it's New Zealand, whether it's in Africa. I mean, genocide, the three foundations of America are genocide, slavery, and perpetual war. So these are the three foundations on the basis of which their civilization has developed many positive things, very great things, economic achievements. But the fundamental evil of their foundations cannot be denied.
Right. And do you think it's going to be somewhat like a strict bipolarity, like the Cold War, or is it going to be something different than that?
No, I already said there's no bipolarity because China does not accept it. China is not going for unipolarity in its own favor. China believes in shared prosperity. It doesn't talk about polarity and all of this, which it regards as total nonsense and excuses for various kinds of suzerainty and hegemony and denying smaller nations their rights and all. China has gained so much influence vis-a-vis America by following policies totally acceptable to the global South. And it is when you talk about whether you consider public opinion in Latin America or in Africa or in Asia or in other places, which is the country which is most respected in the world? It is not the United States. It is China by far. And that is not because it seeks hegemony, but because it seeks inclusivity. And it's not pretending to be sort of very, very saintly. No, it's looking after its own interests. It looks after its interests much more efficiently than as America, but it doesn't set up itself with false missions, pretending to be God's representative on earth and all that.
Right. And Ambassador Saab, how do you see this war? Has it accelerated Chinese ambitions or Russian ambitions as far as the power dynamics of the world are concerned?
No, as I was saying, that what are Chinese ambitions? Chinese ambitions are to have peace, to have a peaceful environment, and world prosperity should be there. China has liberated over 1 billion people from the hell of absolute poverty. It would like the same accomplishment to be achieved in the rest of the global South, and the world is now 8 billion plus. If we could liberate all the world's population from absolute poverty, which is possible, provided the governments follow an ideology which is compatible with this objective. In America, the ideology is the total opposite. It will not permit this kind of equality. It believes in what is known as extreme capitalism, whereby the 0.01% controls everything, and the vast majority. Now, America is such a hugely rich economy, and yet people are worried about the price of groceries, the price of petrol at the gas stations and all. Well, whereas it is, what's it, almost $40 trillion economy. There should be no sign of poverty in America, but their system is such that the government is run by a bunch of what are known as centi-billionaires, people who have more than $100 billion. So, when you have this kind of perverse international economic system, you can't expect peace.
Sir,
Right.
what do you think will be the defining feature of the post-war era?
We are in the which post-war era? This
Yes,
war
sir.
is still on. It hasn't
After
finished.
U.S. Iran
After
war.
this war era.
Well, we will move further and further away from the unipolarity of America, and a lot will depend on the coming midterm elections in America, where people are very upset with this war. They're not upset because of the murder of school children in Iran, or because of the huge damage to an economy of a country which was not threatening anybody. They are hugely offended by the price of petrol, by the price of groceries, by the fact that their own lives have been made tough. So they will possibly expressed their anger in the midterm elections, but the government there in the United States is planning to rig the elections through control of the judiciary by rigging. We've seen in various states that they're changing the electoral sort of rolls, doing all kinds of things. I mean, we used to think this was a third world thing. This might happen in places like India, कभी कभार Pakistan, पता नहीं क्या क्या, ये अमेरिका में हो रहा है आजकल. So I mean, this is one of the most pathetic things. This is the very worst moment. America was born in idealism. Of course, as I told you, its foundations were not good, horrible things. But nonetheless, America's contribution to world civilization has been significant. All that is going to go out the window unless this particular government, which has followed this kind of policy, and this is given the chutti by the American electorate. Let's see if they'll do it.
Right. Ambassador Saab, how should we as Pakistanis align ourselves for and prepare ourselves for this post-U.S Iran war
आपका एक
situation or
दोस्त है,
alignments?
आपका बिग पावर्स में से एक दोस्त है और वो यानी कि प्रूवन फ्रेंड है पिछले 50 साल से, और वो है चाइना. और आप उस चाइना और अमेरिका के दरमियान बैलेंस रखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. अमेरिका हैज नेवर बीन द फ्रेंड ऑफ पाकिस्तान. अमेरिका हैज बीन द मास्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान. अमेरिका हैज डिमांडेड थिंग्स फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान. अगेंस्ट इंडिया जो मदद हमें मिली चीन से, आप समझते हैं कि अमेरिका दे सकता था या देने के लिए तैयार होता टू पाकिस्तान? इवन नाउ यू फाइंड ट्रम्प praising Modi, my good friend, wonderful man. उसका पता नहीं कौन सा बर्थडे था या एनिवर्सरी था अभी हाल ही में, तो उन्होंने उनकी वो तारीफ की, ये वो फलाना, because Modi stood up to him and said, to hell with you, if you try to bully me, I'll mend my fences with China. तो वो भागते उसके पीछे गया. So whenever there's a choice between Pakistan and India, 100% he will choose India because of India's market, because of India's influence and all of those stuff. China has been your truest friend. Never ever has China let you down. Never. And balance का क्या मतलब है? But एक चीज होती है फ्रेनेमी, नकली दोस्त, आधा दुश्मन. वो तो उसका उर्दू में तर्जमा क्या है फ्रेनेमी का? मुनाफिक. हाँ, आधा दोस्त आधा दुश्मन. तो एक मुनाफिक और यानी कि सच्चा दोस्त के दरमियान आप तवाज़ुन रखना चाह रहे हैं. This is not a strategy. This is a laughable thing and all.
Right.
So China, you have to deepen your relationship with China, ensure that no mistrust enters into that relationship, and because America recognizes China as an enemy. We cannot remain the hegemons of the world as long as China is there.
Right.
Sir, thank you so much for providing us with a valuable discussion on the world order. We look forward to see you in future again. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Saab. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.